this is an absolute peeve of mine. It pisses me off. It happens on the road. What do you think people do on the road that bothers me?
All right, where do we start? People on their cell phones. People distracted.
People who don't look at everything on the side of the road like you do.
Or like Froggy, who found this kick-ass head this morning.
You're kind of dancing around.
People who drive slow in the fast lane.
You're getting closer.
Not using your turn indicators.
People who drive fast in the slow lane.
Getting.
All right.
People who drive slow in the fast lane.
People that don't use this.
Their blinker?
Yes.
I just said.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, I did.
Okay.
I said left to right indicators.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you say that.
You called it left to right indicators? And
Yes.
Nobody calls it the left to right indicators. Nobody.
Well, I do.
Nobody does. I don't think you do until the second you said it.
The hell is that?
Oh,
anyway,
okay.
left to right.
but this is important because the Society of Automotive Engineers just put out a study saying that turn signal neglect results in twice as many crashes as distracted driving. So this is important because distracted driving includes all the cell phone usage, which I think, Fester, you brought up.
That was my first guess.
There's tons of it. If you're driving down the road, just take a notice. When you pass cars, whether you're on the interstate, whether you're on a surface road, whatever the story is, just start paying attention to other drivers. Just take a peek. You're on 275, you're on 70, you're on I-4, whatever. You're on the Selman, the veterans. Take a look. When cars pass you, or you notice how many people are on their freaking phones. All right? So that is a very good guess, but incorrect. But it's turn signals. People not using turn signals results in twice as many crashes as drivers that might be distracted on a cell phone. In a new report published by the Society of Automotive Engineers this week, an in-depth observation, the study of turn signal rate of neglect not only exposes how widespread the problem is, a total of 12,000 turning and lane-changing violations were observed with visible turn signal usage or neglect data recorded. The study shows that the neglect rate for lane change vehicles is 48%, and the neglect rate for turning vehicles is 25%, meaning neglect, meaning failure to use your turn signal when changing lanes, or that also bothers me. You're tooling around, you're on a road, and then somebody just nails the brakes and makes a turn with zero indication that they're about to make that turn. And that bothers me. That pisses me off.
What about people who do just like a little blip, 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 like don't hold it down long enough? Does there have to be a specific duration that makes you satisfied, MJ, with the amount of time that someone's had their turn signal on?
It should be enough to indicate. It should be enough to let the driver know that you're making a turn. Yes.
The left-right indicators, like Froggy said.
Thank
You're
you.
right. It's come full circle.
Thank you.
I don't use my blinker if I'm in a turning lane.
You don't use your blinker at all. I've seen you. I've driven with you. Remember, I watched you make 13 or 14 lane changes on the Howard Franklin Bridge. You didn't use your turn signal once.
I weave in and out like water, baby.
Oh,
yeah. That's
dangerous.
You take turn signal off my car.
Also, anybody, what are your thoughts on reckless, terrible, awful drivers that are weaving and swerving, but they use their turn signal? Do they get points for that?
It's a little more courteous.
I have seen some of the worst, most dangerous drivers ever actually use a lane change signal.
I'm changing lanes right now. I'm going to cut you off right in front of your front bumper.
No, but the point is that not using a turn signal is worse in the number of crashes than people that are distracted while driving. And most distractions these days are people on their freaking cell phones doing everything except driving. So use your turn signal. What skin is it? How much effort does it? Seriously. You know what? I'd like to talk to non-turn signal users.
Hi, I'm right here. Ask me anything. I can write a book about it if you want.
All right, Fest, why don't you call in? 800-990-1047. All right, now, all kidding aside, I would like to talk to MJ Morning Show listeners. Are you a non-turn signal user? Can you not muster up the energy to hit that little stalk on the side of your steering wheel to indicate that you're going right, to indicate that you're going left? Are you a serial non-signaler? I'd like to talk to you. I want to climb inside your head, not the plush furry head found on the side of the road. But I'd like to know, if you're a non-signaler, would you please let us know why? All right, 800-990-1047. 800-990-1047. That's how you get in. 800-990-1047. I want to talk about non-signaling psyche. What the hell's the story? Fester, bring on my screener, please.
Okay.
So I can see who's on hold. We already got some call
There's
screens
a lot
here.
more non-signalers than I thought calling in.
Again, so if you're a non-signaler, 800-990-1047. Why? What is so difficult about using your turn signal to alert other drivers? 800-990-1047 is how you get in. Let me start with Rachel in Bradenton. Rachel, you're on the MJ Morning Show on Q105. Hi, Rachel.
Hi.
Rachel, are you a non-signaler?
So it depends. If I'm turning, I do use them, but if I'm merging, I'm actually afraid to use them. Driving around here, I feel like sometimes you're running out of merge space, and if you're turning using a turn signal, the people behind you actually speed up around here so that you're like running out of road space. So sometimes if I'm merging, I actually won't use turn signals because I can't let people know that I'm trying to do it or they won't let me.
Okay, that's a merge, but what about you're just driving straight down the interstate? You're in Bradenton. Let's say you're on 75. So
Yeah.
you're on 75 and you want to go from the right lane to the middle lane or the left lane to the middle lane or the middle lane to the left lane. Do you signal then?
Just by virtue of you going, that's kind of a quick yes or no.
Why? I don't get it.
I mean, so like I just feel like people in Tampa and Bradenton, this whole area drives so crazy between all the old people, the New Yorkers, people who may be under the influence that like.
All right, so Rachel, where are you from?
I'm from New York.
Where in New York are you from?
Poughkeepsie.
I gotcha. All right. And how long you been down here?
15 years.
All right. Rachel, I would just recommend that you signal because if you heard the stats, the Society of Automotive Engineers, you'll see like SAE. You'll see that I've seen that for years. They're saying that twice as many crashes happen with non-signalers than with distracted drivers. All right, opens up a line. Thank you for calling in, Rachel. 800-990-1047. Are you a non-signaler? Why don't you signal? How much energy and effort does it take just to hit that little stalk up or down to signal right or left? William is in Tampa. William, you're on the MJ Morning Show on Q105. Hi, William.
Yeah, I was on the expressway between Washington, D.C. and Boston. And I was getting up there, and a truck driver behind me on the radio hollered at me. He said, "Hey, driver, if you let your turn signal flash more than one time, you're not going to get over." He said, "I've watched you 2-3 times trying to get over to where you need to be, and you're not getting over." He said, "Let me around you, watch what I do, and you'll be fine." He said, "Well, you come around me." He said, "You come up there, you hit that turn signal one time, you let it blink once, and you move over." He said, "They'll move, they'll get out of the way, or they'll get hit, but you don't let it flash no more than one time."
All right, William, are you driving a tractor trailer right now?
Yes, I am. I've been driving a truck since I was 17 years old.
Wow. All right, because what's that beeping we're hearing?
It's a radar. If you get too close to a truck, it beeps, lets you know you're getting too close.
All right, well, you were riding someone's ass a bunch of times during this phone call.
You may want to just give it a couple more feet, William. Drive safe.
All right, William, what are you hauling right now?
Actually, I'm empty right now. I just unloaded my load for the day.
Oh, gotcha. Are you a local or are you long distance?
I've done both, but now I'm local now. I'm local.
All right. Thank you. Do you work for a big freight company or what?
Well, I'd rather not say who I work for, but yeah, they're big.
All right. Well, a bunch of those yellow drivers
Yeah.
looking for jobs right now.
You don't drive for
yeah.
yellow.
Yeah. Thank you, William. Have a great day. Drive safely. Let me grab Dan in Clearwater. Dan, are you a non-signaler on the road?
No, I'm a signaler. I'm a truck driver also, and I didn't hear the guy's last whole comment. But I think part of the problem is people are so dependent on staring at their Google Maps now that they forget to signal. Like everybody that's turning right, they stop before they turn right.
I know.
Because they're trying to make sure their Google Map is caught up with them.
And that's an issue because that's also an issue where sometimes you're staring at your GPS and you're wondering, wait a minute, is this the road I turn at, or is it the next one to turn at?
Yeah, I've driven through some cities where I drove through Atlanta over the weekend, and there were several exits very close to each other, and my Waze just looked like a bowl of spaghetti. I didn't know which road to take or not to take, so I slowed down. I got honked at by some Georgian.
Dan, thanks for the call. Have a great day. Let me grab Josh. One more call on this, Andrew. I got to move on. Josh is in Tampa. Josh, you're on the MJ Morning Show. Hi.
Good morning. How are you guys doing?
We're doing well. All right, so are you a signaler or a non-signaler?
So I call myself a mixed use because if there's no one around me, or if I'm at the back of traffic and I'm changing lanes, I'm not signaling. Or if I'm at the front of traffic and I'm changing lanes, I'm not signaling. If I'm sitting at a traffic light and I know that across the way it's a straight and a turn, that's one of my pet peeves. You better signal. And coming out of my neighborhood, I have one of those. There's crashes there all the time. So for me, it depends. I don't care when people don't signal. Outside of coming out of my neighborhood, because again, that's just one of those weird turns where you have no idea if someone's going straight or turning, and too many wrecks.
All right, thanks for the call. It bothers me wherever people are. If you don't signal, it bothers me immensely, and it takes virtually no effort to operate that stalk on your steering wheel to let other drivers know. And again, more accidents happen with non-signalers than distracted drivers. Yes, Andrew.
What happens with all these autonomous cars? Do they signal?
It's a good question. I'm sure they do.
These cars are pretty smart.
Yeah, I'm sure when they make a lane change, I'm sure the damn thing signal.